Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market report for Friday, October 12th, 2018. Happy Friday, everyone. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Obviously, we've had a significant sell-off over the beginning portion here of October. We talked about the potential here for selling pressure last week. We mentioned the importance of the 28.78 half, how price could get down below there a little bit, but if it really gives up that level, it opens up 27.91 and 27.03. These are topics we've been talking about since last week, and also in the monthly outlook that we hosted on October 1st. And now we've seen the significant effects here of that meltdown. Now, did we just find a recent low, though? This low yesterday, is that a strong low to play off of? And that's the question here. As of right now, when I saw the low hit live, it looked like the part. It looked the part of a strong low. It was, the ES bounced off that low and rallied about 50 handles very, very quickly, getting back to about 27.65, 27.70 very quickly. Before it had another pullback. So again, that was a very strong low. Right now we continue to hold above the absorption point of that pattern, which is about 27.50. So 27.50 is this level right here, and that's where we're holding today. Even as low as, say, perhaps 27.42 half. But in that zone, that's where bulls are trying to keep bid for the next day or two, maybe even three. But if so, that could be a launching off point for a return trip back toward the midpoint of this impulse sell-off. So we're taking that high, we're taking this low, and now perhaps this is a midpoint that we can shoot for, 28.28 half. And again, based on market structure here, this thing is sold down significantly. We could bounce into that zone, and bears could come in and defend, and we could see more lows from there. Getting back above the 28 halves and reestablishing acceptance back above that zone would suggest a return back toward highs. But right now, impulse high, potential impulse low, and from there, perhaps we get a key range development here pretty soon. That will take a 28.28 half test. So again, can prices stay above 27.50 to 27.40? Today, every bounce off that zone, bulls will likely defend. And a failure at 27.40 would open up much more weakness again to the downside. So we'll see if the market can continue to hold these levels here. Above 2800 would begin to squeeze back up. So again, we'll keep an eye to see if this thing can continue to build up for a potential bounce back toward 28 half. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Now in the NQ here, you'll notice the same type of behavior, major sell-off. This one got below the 7K level. 10+% pullback, took out recent lows, retested the FOMC key level at January 31st, which is the 69.65 quarter. These are a lot of the levels that we talked about again last Monday on October 1st. This one sold off significantly from the 7,700 level that we had as the level that was being defended by bears. This thing drops and finally takes out major lows and retests major market structure. This is the level we talked about the other night, Wednesday night, during the evening webinar, Profiting with Swing Trade Pro 2.0. If you missed that one, the recording is up at PivotBoss. It's in the post here, published with this video as well. Again, what we were looking for was any signs of rejection down here, because that could open up a bounce back toward 73 to 7,400. As of right now, 73.18 quarter would be the midpoint of the impulse sell-off. So again, that would be the target to shoot for if this low remains intact. That low, again, just above the 6,900, 6907.75. This one doesn't have the cleanest area of absorption, but any pullback, say to 70.40 or even lower, 7,000, could still be defended by bulls for a shot at continuing this thing up. So over the next 1 to 5 days, we could be at that area, 73.18. It could even happen faster. It could happen in 1 day. Again, we never know how fast it would happen, but again, if this low is in, this is the high odds bounce over the next 1 to 5 days. Sometimes it can take longer, sometimes quicker. We'll see how that plays out. Again, this one needs to hold 7K overall by the end of the day. Let's take a look now at crude oil. You'll notice here with crude oil, we had a major sell-off Again, the 75s and 75.27 level, that's the zone we've been talking about. It all started with the pre-market report a while back where we were talking about the 76 level when price was holding above it that morning. I mentioned a failure to hold 76 could open up quite a bit of weakness. That was the beginning. This was the retest, and that was a continuation. And yesterday I mentioned that we are right at the level now, right at that zone here where bulls would need to defend for a shot at coming back toward 74 to 75. And if this level gives up, then again, much more downside could be seen. So how much more weakness do we see out of crude oil? This one was very, very bullish, but recently got taken to the woodshed here with the broader market. With this channel, do we come back toward the bottom end of this range? That would take us back toward the August FOMC key level of 67.50. That's right here, and again, that's the last level we bounced off of. Do we come all the way back to 67.50? That may be in play here. Again, if this next bounce finds more weakness or another lower high, that could be a selling point for a move into 67.50. So again, something to keep in mind here if the next bounce again doesn't take hold to the upside. All right, let's take a look now at gold futures. Gold here with a major breakout yesterday. Again, this one has been very curious. The market's been dropping here over the first portion of the month, and yet this one hadn't even flinched. It had been break even. After the major sell-off a few days ago, Wednesday, nothing happened again until yesterday, where we had a significant breakout of 2+%, a major continuation. It pushed through the 1220s. This is what we've been waiting for, again, to avoid the chop for months, 2 straight months, and finally we get a breakout through one side or the other. It's 1220. This is a day after trend day here where we fade a bit, maybe digestion. We could see a little bit more of a pullback, perhaps as deep as the midpoint there, 1223.70. But again, any pullback likely to be defended for a continuation. So because the fact that price was able to close strong beyond 1220 and hold by the end of the day, that's good. Any pullback now should be considered a buying opportunity for a continuation toward 1240 and maybe even higher. 1240 has been the level that this market just has not been able to get above since July in the second half of this year. It just hasn't been able to. So if it can get above that level, watch out. This thing could get back toward 1287 to 1300 very quickly. Again, this market hasn't demonstrated the ability to go higher for long periods of time. This may change with this breakout. Any failure, again, to hold 1220 overall, again, would be another failure that leads to a pushback down. So right now, this is the breakout. We got to see if it continues to hold. If so, it could be very, very bullish. So we'll see how that one continues to develop. Lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Yesterday, Bitcoin had a major meltdown. I mentioned how, again, this market, something's got to give. It just can't trade like this forever. It just cannot facilitate fair trade in that zone for a broad number of market participants. So it either has to do this or do this. And sometimes if it can't go up, it needs to go down first. We mentioned that just before this thing dropped 5+% yesterday. And again, we're back to the 6K level. And we don't spend much time below 6K. I mean, it's a day, it's a morning, it's an afternoon. That's pretty much it before it bounces. So again, do we need to really get a flush through that zone, or is it going to hold? Again, you know, sometimes the best thing to do is just wait for a flush and then pick it up super cheap if you really want to get in. Because defending here and not getting paid, defending here and not getting paid is just a recipe for everyone to jump ship at the same time. So be careful, cautious on this one. Down trending or descending pattern here usually breaks to the downside, but again, this thing could continue to develop for a little while longer before that break occurs. So we'll continue to watch that one. Again, I want to remind everyone, if you go to pivotboss.com, Swing Trade Pro 2.0 has launched. I'm getting fantastic feedback for this. Our live 5-day training event is next week. It will be held Monday through Friday from 1:30 p.m. Central to 3:30 p.m. Central, the last couple hours of the trading day. We are going to trade live. We're going to engage the material live. And again, all of this is already pre-recorded here in terms of the training. So if you get into Swing Trade Pro right this moment, you have access to 10 hours of training. Next week is the application and actual trading portion. And then all of that will be recorded and put into the dashboard as well. You can learn more about Swing Trade Pro by clicking on this Learn More button. It'll pop up this page here where you can learn more about the various sections, learn more about the awesome deal that we have going on right now. If you order by Sunday, October 14th, you got 2 days, 17 hours, 9 minutes, you will be able to join us for the 5-day live trading event. That's a $695 value for free. And again, this is the application portion. It will be recorded if you cannot attend. And again, this is a fantastic time to be a part of this type of event because of the nature of the market at this moment. Big swings, high volatility, major pullbacks. Next week could be significant for a bounce back opportunity. So we're going to engage that market with the techniques taught in Swing Trade Pro 2.0. Again, we hosted a webinar here the other day. If you didn't get access to that webinar or haven't watched the recording, you can go back out to PivotBoss, click on News tab here, and any one of these posts will have the webinar recording embedded in it, or you can click on webinar recording here and watch it right there. It's about 1 hour of great content. We cover a lot of different topics of the market asked by you all. We also cover some of Swing Trade Pro, and I answer your questions for that. So again, this is a great opportunity for you to jump into some powerful training that could help you for a very, very long time, as these concepts are foundational to how you engage a market and manage the risk and profit like a pro. So again, Swing Trade Pro 2.0, the 5-step swing trading blueprint, is now available. You can get access to that right now, immediate access, and you can also be a part of next week's live trading event. So please email me if you have any questions, frank@pivotboss.com, and I'd be happy to answer them. I know I'm getting a high flow of emails right now, so I'm trying to get to every single one of you as soon as possible. And again, I'd love to see you in the course next week. All right, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day. Happy Friday. Good luck and trade well.